What is the meanest thing your siblings ever did to you? We used to play a game called box. My brother would duct tape me into a box and throw me off the roof onto a trampoline. Box was great. Sounds like fun. Me and my brother would play this game called Safety First. It involves me saying safety first, in a goofy voice, and then me falling down the stairs. I am not sure why we did that. Also he'd put me in a dog crate on skateboards and push me down hills. Yeah. Apparently when I was 3 my father came downstairs to see my half-brother throwing bricks at me when I was backed into a corner. When I was about 5 years old, my older sister and I went walking out in a field together in the rain. I then got my boots stuck in deep mud and could not move. After unsuccessfully attempting to pull me out, my sister walked home to get help. I waited in the rain for an hour and no one came, so I pulled my feet out of the boots and walked home barefoot. When I got home I found my sister watching TV. She had apparently forgotten about me. Forgotten? No, she was just hoping she finally got rid of her annoying younger sibling. My sisters and my girlfriend conspired together and decided that they would all stop laughing whenever I tried to crack a joke. Whenever I would try to make any of them laugh, they would just stare blankly at me. After about a week I had nearly lost my mind. Haha. My mother and her sisters did that to their neighbor once. He always laughed at his own jokes and they decided to trick him. None of them laughed, but it didn't matter because he just laughed his ass off. After a while they could not hold it in anymore because he just kept laughing. When I was 17 I worked to buy my own prom dress. I put about $400 on a prepaid card so I would not spend any more than that on the dress. My sister stole the card and spent all the money. She told my mother the card was given to her. She believed her and I ended up almost not going to prom. It was December 1984 and I was 6. My older brother and sister told an elaborate tale of how they traveled to the North Pole and worked for Santa Claus. They had to walk through an enchanted forest to get there. Their proof was a large wad of rainbow-colored bubble gum they pulled from the bubblegum pond along the way, which was actually several pieces of Hubba Bubba rolled into one large ball of gum. I did chores for them all month long in fear they'd tell Santa I was being bad bastards. When I was little, my dad took me and my siblings to the Indianapolis Museum of Art, where there was an exhibit that scared the heck out of me. It consisted of a bunch of wooden furniture and shelving, while an audio clip of a low, deep mumbling played, followed by loud knocking noises. This scared the heck out of 6-year-old me. Anyway, my brother and sister thought this was funny and decided to tell me this was the Knock Knock Man, a murderous ghost who traveled through wood and killed small children. For weeks after, my sister would knock on the wall between our rooms late at night, while my brother, who I shared a wooden bunk bed with, made low, rumbling noises. Other fun things. I was told that the corn syrup plant in my town smelled funny because it was a baby crematorium. I was told big red hot dogs were made out of Sonic the Hedgehog, who I loved as a kid. I was going to be put in a museum exhibit for being uniquely retarded, due to struggling at learning to ride a bike by the age of 7. When I was about 6, my brother, who was 12, explained to me that we were going to participate in a trust exercise. I trusted him completely, so I giddily accepted. He took me outside and instructed me to close my eyes and he would guide me on a walk. Well, after about 5 minutes of happily holding his hands and walking around with my eyes closed, I felt it. He made me step in a pile of fresh dog shit. I literally felt it squishing up through my bare toe. I broke down and cried because of that betrayal of trust. He just laughed and left me to clean it off. I never trusted him after that. My brother is still an asshole. Oh, another one. My mother and older sister farted in the car when we rode, the 3 of us. They convinced me that I am farting and that I just do not notice. I believed for a long time that I have a magical ass that farts without me knowing. Even willingly took blame when someone asked who farted. When I was about 9, me and my brother, who was about 12, were fighting, as usual. Now both of us played baseball and at the time he was a pretty damn good pitcher. so I am running away from him talking mad shit. Not gonna lie, I used to have a way of getting under people's skin, and I make it across the yard and turn around to taunt him some more. While I am doing this, he picks up a rock, and with uncanny accuracy, throws it. The rock hits me right between my nose and upper lip in that little indentation. Pretty sure it has some type of official sciencey type name, but never cared. I scream like a bitch and run around crying. He apologizes, and when our mom gets home, he gets the last spanking either one of us ever gets. My mother never punished me. She would punish my 6 siblings but not me. Periodically they would all start picking on me, tripping me, hiding books that I read, disappearing my completed homework, just irritating things. The night my mother died, they told me that my mother would tell them that he needs to be taken down a peg or two and turn them loose on me for a while. I used to like being alone and reading. Actually, I still do. When I was around 12, I was hiding under my bed with a blanket hanging down so I could have my isolation. I hear my sister start to call my name. She used to beg me to play with her. I tried ignoring her, but eventually I caved. My mother would be pissed if I didn't entertain her, so lift my blanket to exit my cozy hidey hole and scream my ass off. There was another person right in front of me. I dropped the blanket and jumped back. I hear my sister giggling like a hyena and know she has played a trick on me. I carefully lift the blanket again and see the other person looking back at me. She had dragged a full-length mirror in front of the bed and positioned it so it was the first thing I saw when I tried to leave. Since I was the bigger and meaner sibling, I will throw my mean action in here. Once when I was about 12 and my younger brother was 6, we were swimming and he started annoying me for some reason. I do not remember what it was. I just remember being ready to snap. So I told him that if he didn't shut up, I was going to drown him in the pool. And I went further to tell him that I did once had another little brother before he was born who I did also drowned. But our parents had covered it up because they didn't want me to go to jail, and that if I killed him, I could get away with it again. So he'd better shut up or I did drown him in the pool like his dead older brother. Then he cried and cried and cried and told our parents, and I got in a bunch of trouble. I thought that was going to end with you drowning your brother. The real ending was substantially better. I duct-taped socks to my sister's hands and rubbed Vaseline on the door handle of her room, imprisoning her there for 2 hours. My siblings were all in high school when I was born, so they thought it was pretty cool to have a baby sister and they were very sweet to me, but sometimes they had to get shit done and could not have a toddler bothering them. My oldest brother discovered that 2-year-old me was terrified of the hairdryer, so his solution was to just lay it across the threshold of his bedroom door. I would not come near that, no way, and that was the meanest thing any of them ever did to me. And it wasn't even that mean. I am pretty lucky. My brother once sprayed deodorant in my eyes after I got pissed at him for deleting my 100 hours of Pokemon Blue. When I was little, my sister successfully convinced me that I was adopted even though I had seen pictures of my mom holding me after I was born. My sister was the queen of torment. She is just shy of 4 years older than me. When I was 3 or 4, she gave me a cup of pee and told me it was apple juice. My reply was "Ew, this is sour apple juice." Another time I do not know what she did. This has been relayed to me by my mother, but we had well water and sometimes the pipes would make an eerie groaning noise. One time they went off, and my mom hears us both screaming. She comes running and I am screaming hysterically and my sister is laughing her ass off. I do not know what she told me, but I would not leave my mom's side for 6 months. She also locked me outside when a huge dog wandered onto our property and came running at us. She once trapped me in a cardboard box by flipping a coffee table on top of it. I was playing a la Calvin and Hobbes in the box. The list goes on. She tried to stab me a few times, stole my money, and so on. So I guess you could say she was kinda a bitch. One of my most triumphant days was when I was finally big enough that she tried to kick my ass and I just snapped and beat the crap out of her. It stopped mostly then, though she did huck a D-cell battery at me and take the skin off my knuckles, and once threw a steel 15 pounds weight at my face while I was laying in my bed. My bipolar sister threw my Game Boy out of the car when I was like 8 for fun. Your sister is Hitler. My brother wanted to bath first, but I got into the bathtub running before him, so he left, but he came back with my Furby and threw it in the water. It died. I cried. Before I was even a year old, my mother told my brother to look after me and give me a bath. He left me to drown in a bathtub full of water so he could go and watch the new episode of Popeye. I, on the other hand, ended up pushing him off a 2-story building by the time I was 4. Luckily he only broke his nose. I had a betta fish die when I was 7, and I had to flush him down the toilet. My older sister informed me that the fish hadn't gone down with the initial flush, so I went back in the bathroom and saw that she had dropped about a handful of goldfish crackers in the toilet. My mom tried not to laugh, and looking back at it now I cannot help but chuckle, but at 7 years old I thought this was the meanest thing anyone had ever done to me. When I was 5, my dad remarried a woman with 2 kids, one boy who was 4 and a girl who was 6. We moved into a house with them. I spent Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at my dad's house and the rest with my mom. My stepmom seemed alright. She was way younger than my dad and had no control over her kids, but she could cook fine, and that's all I cared about. I kept to myself. I was a cute little girl who teachers loved because I was quiet and respectful, and I had lots of good friends. But for some reason my new stepsister was set on ruining my life. She pretended to be friends with me so I would tell her my secret crushes and how horrible it was when my parents got divorced. She gained my trust for years, until they started excluding me from everything. My stepmom would make dinner and not make me any or call me out of my room. If she caught me in the kitchen trying to get a snack, she would send me away. I had to start stealing food from my own home. I was 12 at the time and these things had never happened to me before. I didn't know what was going on until one day when I was doing homework in my room, not making a noise and pretending I didn't exist, eating my stolen stash of crackers for dinner. My stepsister came in crying and told me I needed to leave. I was so scared and confused. I was 12. My dad was at work and I was trapped in this house where I didn't know the neighbors and I didn't have any way to leave. These people I had tried to accept as family were yelling and throwing my stuff everywhere. My dad finally got home to find me curled up under the bed crying with my stuff everywhere, and that's when it really started. He had tried to love everyone fairly and not give me special treatment, but I was his own daughter and there are certain limits. Later on I found out that my stepsister was mad because I started my period before her and I was a year younger. She actually broke up our family because I started my period and she didn't. We still Facebook friends and I see her posts about how great her life is and how deep and artsy she is, and all I can think of is how terrible and selfish she really is on the inside. Big exaggerated sigh. That was good to get out. I have not talked about it in probably 10 years. Dr. Stepsister destroyed our family after years because I started my period before her. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.